Welcome to Streaming News Network by Claude McDaniel. News without the hype and biased reporting. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. President Donald Trump is pushing back against critics as negotiations with Iran continue, saying media coverage and political commentary are making the process more difficult. In a message posted on social media, Trump said Iran wants to reach an agreement and predicted that any deal would ultimately benefit the United States and its allies. However, he argued that constant public criticism from political opponents and some Republicans is complicating his ability to negotiate effectively. Trump criticized what he called fake media coverage and said commentators are sending mixed messages by urging him to move faster, slow down, take military action, or avoid conflict altogether. He maintained that such public pressure creates unnecessary challenges during sensitive diplomatic discussions. Despite the criticism, Trump expressed confidence that negotiations will end successfully, telling supporters to remain patient and trust the process. He concluded by saying that things will work out well in the end, adding that they always do. The comments come as the administration continues to pursue a diplomatic solution with Iran while facing intense scrutiny from both supporters and opponents. This is Streaming News Network. A heated congressional hearing on election laws and voting rights sparked sharp exchanges this week, as Representative Wesley Hunt of Texas criticized comparisons between modern voter identification requirements and the segregation-era Jim Crow laws of the American South. During the hearing, Hunt argued that references to Jim Crow 2.0 misrepresent the realities of racial discrimination experienced by Black Americans during the segregation era. Using visual displays, he contrasted historic images of segregation with modern voting procedures that require photo identification. Hunt described the hardships faced by African Americans under Jim Crow, including segregated schools, public facilities, violence, and systemic discrimination. He also shared personal stories about his family's experiences in the South during that period. The hearing also examined criticism surrounding the Southern Poverty Law Center and broader debates over election integrity policies. Republicans questioned whether comparisons between voter identification laws and historical segregation are appropriate, while supporters of voting rights protections have argued such measures can create barriers for some voters. Hunt further pointed to the election of several Black Republican lawmakers in majority-white districts as evidence of changing political and social attitudes in the United States. The debate comes as voter identification laws and election security measures continue to remain major points of political disagreement nationwide. This is Streaming News Network. The superintendent of Longview Public Schools has been arrested in connection with an ongoing investigation into allegations of student sexual assault at Mark Morris High School. Police say Superintendent Karen Cloninger was taken into custody Thursday morning and is facing felony charges of witness tampering, along with misdemeanor charges of failure to report and obstructing a law enforcement officer. Authorities also announced that additional charges are expected against Andrew Schoonover, the district's executive director of student services. Investigators say those charges will include failure to report and providing false or misleading information to a public official. According to Longview Police Chief Robert Huda, the investigation involved extensive evidence review and coordination among multiple agencies. Officials say the case has generated significant concern throughout the community among students, families, and school staff. Court documents allege that school personnel and district administrators were aware of reports involving physical and sexual misconduct among students as early as January. Investigators claim district leaders received information regarding incidents involving multiple students, including allegations that one student was forcibly taken into a team room, restrained, and partially undressed. The investigation remains active, and authorities say additional developments may follow. This is Streaming News Network. A growing debate over taxes, business policy, and economic development is unfolding in New York City following reports that Apollo Global Management plans to expand operations in Nashville, Tennessee. The investment management firm, which oversees hundreds of billions of dollars in assets, has confirmed Nashville as a major growth location outside its longtime New York headquarters. Company officials cited access to talent, business conditions, and long-term strategic planning as factors in the decision. The move has fueled discussion about whether major financial firms are increasingly expanding into lower tax and lower cost regions of the country, including states across the South and Sun Belt. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani responded to questions about the expansion by defending his economic agenda and arguing that corporations should contribute their fair share in taxes. Supporters of the mayor say investments in public services and affordability are essential for the city's future, while critics contend higher taxes and increased regulation could discourage business growth. The debate comes as New York faces ongoing budget challenges and competition from rapidly growing metropolitan areas such as Nashville, Austin, and Miami. While Apollo has indicated that New York will remain an important part of its operations, the company's expansion plans are being closely watched as policymakers and business leaders continue to debate the future of America's financial centers. This is Streaming News Network. Florida has become the first state in the nation to file a lawsuit against OpenAI, alleging that the company released its artificial intelligence chatbot, ChatGPT, despite concerns about potential risks to users. The lawsuit, filed by Florida Attorney General James Uthmere, claims the technology company failed to adequately address warnings about the possible misuse of its AI systems. Court filings allege that ChatGPT has been connected to a range of harmful outcomes, including providing information that could be used in planning violent acts, encouraging self-harm, negatively affecting critical thinking skills, and contributing to excessive use among minors. The lawsuit also names OpenAI co-founder Sam Altman, alleging company leadership allowed the product to be released despite known concerns. OpenAI has not been found liable for the allegations, and the claims will be subject to judicial review. The legal action follows a criminal investigation launched earlier this year after authorities examined the role ChatGPT may have played in the planning of the 2025 shooting at Florida State University. Investigators allege the suspect used the chatbot as part of preparations for the attack. The case marks a significant new legal challenge for the rapidly growing artificial intelligence industry and could have broader implications for how AI companies are regulated in the future. This is Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network. Federal immigration officials say a Mauritanian national has been arrested in Indiana after investigators questioned the validity of information provided in a pending asylum application. According to the Department of Homeland Security, Salah Dine Habib was taken into custody on May 21 and is currently being held by Immigration and Customs Enforcement pending removal proceedings. Officials allege Habib entered the United States near Lukeville, Arizona, in March of 2023 and was later released while his asylum case was being processed. Authorities claim he sought asylum in part by asserting that he was homosexual, but investigators later determined that he had married a woman after arriving in the United States. The case has drawn additional attention because Habib was reportedly employed as a corrections officer at a county jail in Indiana. Local reports indicate the woman he married is the daughter of the county sheriff whose department employed him. Federal authorities have characterized the asylum claim as fraudulent. However, the allegations have not yet been adjudicated in immigration court, and no final determination has been made regarding the asylum application. Immigration officials say Habib will remain in federal custody while removal proceedings continue. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A growing dispute over Virginia's new firearms law is intensifying as more local officials announce they will not enforce portions of the measure when it takes effect next month. The law, signed by Governor Abigail Spanberger in May, prohibits the sale and transfer of certain semi-automatic firearms classified under the legislation as assault weapons. The measure is scheduled to take effect on July 1 and is already facing legal challenges from several gun rights organizations, which argue the law violates constitutional protections under the Second Amendment. On Friday, officials in Clark County became the latest to publicly question the law's constitutionality. The county sheriff and Commonwealth's attorney released a joint statement expressing concerns about restrictions involving firearms, ammunition, magazines, and expanded public carry regulations. Their announcement reportedly brings the number of Virginia prosecutors who have expressed unwillingness to enforce the law to 10. Supporters of the legislation argue it is a public safety measure designed to reduce gun violence. Opponents contend it infringes on the rights of lawful gun owners and may not withstand court scrutiny. Meanwhile, some Democratic lawmakers have suggested that local officials who refuse to enforce state law could face accountability measures. The legal battle is expected to continue in the courts as the law's implementation date approaches. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A North Carolina police officer has been fired following public backlash over a video that appears to show him repeatedly striking a woman during an arrest in Shelby. Shelby Police Chief Brad Fraser announced that Officer Carson Hyder was dismissed on May 30 after an internal investigation into the incident. The case gained national attention after footage captured by a residential security camera was widely shared on social media. The video shows officers attempting to detain a woman before a struggle takes place. During the encounter, the woman can be heard questioning the arrest and later telling officers that she needs mental health treatment and is not taking her medication. The footage appears to show one officer striking the woman multiple times while other officers attempt to gain control of the situation. Chief Fraser said the officers' actions did not reflect the values of the Shelby Police Department and emphasized the department's commitment to accountability and professional conduct. The department has forwarded its investigative findings to the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, which is now reviewing the incident to determine whether any criminal laws may have been violated. The arrest sparked protests outside police headquarters, where demonstrators called for accountability and a criminal review of the officers' actions. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A Philadelphia truck driver was arrested in Central Florida after deputies responding to a disturbance call discovered he was wanted on an outstanding robbery warrant in Pennsylvania. According to authorities, the incident occurred at a racetrack convenience store in Davenport, Florida, where a store employee contacted emergency dispatchers to report a customer allegedly causing a disturbance and confronting staff members. When deputies arrived, they identified the individual as 33-year-old Hakeem Jamal Copeland of Philadelphia. Copeland reportedly told officers he was a commercial truck driver who had stopped at the location to complete a federally required rest period. During the investigation, deputies conducted a routine records check and learned that Copeland was wanted in Philadelphia on an active robbery warrant. Authorities say he was taken into custody without incident and transported to a local detention facility. He is currently being held as a fugitive from justice while officials begin extradition proceedings to return him to Pennsylvania. No additional details about the underlying robbery case have been released, and authorities have not announced when the extradition process is expected to be completed.
Thank you for listening to Streaming News Network videos and shorts. Please like and subscribe to our news channel.